I'm going to dispel a myth right now that I hear all the time, and I wonder how you feel about it. I hear people say this phrase all the time. Dorian Yates didn't have great genetics, but he was able to make his physique great with work ethic.
Today we're gonna discuss what you all get wrong misconception. What you all didn't know the real about Dorian Yates back in the day. And what's kind of like Dorian said when he was Mr. Olympia, it's really myth and bullshit. Okay? Don't believe all of what Dorian Yates said when he was Mr. Olympia. What's up guys, welcome back again in my YouTube channel, Joan Sagala in the Bodybuilding Podcast. So today I wanna dispelling and show some myth. What's kind of like Dorian, all of what Dorian said when he was Mr. Olympia back then, it's not true, okay? So the first, I wanna spelling and show to all of you guys. And this is from Dorian himself, and this is from Dorian Mouth himself. Is he really never and don't have great genetics? Is he really don't have great genetics? Okay, we go jump up into it. But before that, please click the bell button, subscribe, and let's talk and discuss together.
And I feel like it's a really false statement. How do you feel about that statement?
Maybe it's my own fault because I made a statement when I was Mr. Olympia or around about that time. Because I was looking at Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
I was looking how extraordinary this guy's physique is, and how great he looks. Mm-hmm. And sorry, Flex, if you're going to be listening to this, but quite frankly, he was a little bit lazy. Mm-hmm. And he was not really super motivated. He was almost like taking his gift for granted. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I wasn't saying I have shitty genetics.
Yeah.
I was saying there are people out there with better genetics than me, but I'm outworking them. And if Flex had my head on his shoulders, it would be a scary thing. So maybe that's where it came from.
So yeah, Dorian was from Dorian himself. He said this is Dorian Yates' fault because he compared his genetics to the Flex Wheeler genetics. Of course, Flex Wheeler, we all know back then is one of the favorite bodybuilder because of his symmetry, his round muscle bellies, because he's the king of the symmetry, shape, the beautiful physics. Never gonna second Flex Wheeler coming in this world. Only Flex Wheeler who have the perfect physics, the balance, the symmetry, and all of that. That's what Dorian talking about. He just compare his genetics to Flex Wheeler genetics, but it doesn't mean Dorian yet have a shitty genetics and have a bad genetics. It's same like I'm compare myself, my genetics to Flex Wheeler. Of course, my genetics is not really can battle and can match up with Flex Wheeler. Of course, it's really too far. So it doesn't mean Dorian Yates don't have the great genetics, and that's why, because he has the great genetics in the first place, in the first time, he can be the Mr. Olympia, 6-time Mr. Olympia. So that's the truth.
So I have great genetics for bodybuilding. I mean, you're only going to look at my early photos when I've been training for 6 months. The physique's there. I mean, it's not huge or nothing. It's like 200 pounds maybe, but lean, proportionate, no real weak points. Maybe the biceps are pretty average, but that's about it, you know?
So you hear that? It's from Dorian himself, he said.
I just feel like somebody who could achieve your size and your success, it's not possible to say somebody that has bad genetics. I mean, Flex.
No, of course not. You don't get on the Olympia stage, even last place, without having way above average genetics.
So the man, the GOAT, the Dorian Yates himself said, you cannot be even in the last place, the worst place in the Mr. Olympia. You cannot achieve that if you don't have the great genetics, awesome genetics from the average person. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Genetics is number one important things if you really look at to the bodybuilding. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm always approach this to all of you.
Yeah. Okay.
And everyone has different genetics. Like Flex has very small joints and very round muscle bellies. And maybe this you can say is more aesthetic, where my physique was a little bit more powerful, maybe more Herculean. So it's different genetics. But yeah, you can't be Mr. Olympia without having superior genetics.
So yeah, it's about genetics. Okay, I wanna show you and dispelling you about genetics of Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates, in the first place, he have the awesome, the best of the best from all of us. Okay, he has the best genetics in the first place and in the first time, and that's why he can achieve the crown, and that's why he can take the title the Mr. Olympia. So what's kind of like we can see, I'm gonna show you another myth dispelling from Dorian Yates.
While we're dispelling some myths, I want to hear your thoughts about squatting, because every time a squatting conversation comes up, people say, well, Dorian Yates didn't squat. So can you clarify that for me, please? Did you squat at all coming up, or just never?
Of course, I was squatting. I had the Tom Platz powerlifting squatting shoes, the whole thing, yeah. And everybody was, the squat rack was the altar. This was, separating the men from the boys. So I was doing that. Ass to the floor barbell squats.
So back in the day, Dorian Yates was squatting, guys. That's what you all get misconception again, right? That's the second misconception from Dorian Yates. You get it when he was in the Mr. Olympia. He always said an approach to all of us. If you want to have the big legs, squat is not necessary. You don't have to squat if you want to build massive legs. So Dorian Yates was squatting. Dorian Yates was squatting back in the day. He just not doing hack squat. He just not doing leg press. But he was squatting. What I said about squatting is barbell free weight squat. He already did it back in the day.
I tore something there, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. There was no physios and these kind of people around. You just go to your MD or, I hurt myself. Okay, so take these anti-inflammatories and stop being stupid and lifting weights, or take a break and go back. And that was it, So I went back, and it became like a recurring problem that I would get this hip little pains and tears and stuff every time I'm trying to squat. So I wasn't getting anywhere with the leg training.
So the reason why he said you don't have to squat to have the built massive leg is because he was already have injured from the squatting, from doing barbell squat. He was get injured, and that's why he approached and tell to all of us, you don't have to build massive legs with squat. And of course, it's true. You can build your legs with hack squat. You can build your legs with leg press. But also, if you compare, if we're talking about the bodybuilding, the people who already doing squat and not doing squat, it's gonna be have the different looking muscle. It's gonna be different looking, okay? So, doesn't mean Dorian Yates not squatting. If you want to have legs like a Dorian Yates, you gotta squat, okay? You cannot just doing hack squat if you have the expect want to have the best legs like a Tom Platz, even like a Dorian Yates, like a Ronnie Coleman. Forget about it, guys. You gotta squat. You have to squat, okay? So, this misconception. Don't believe what Dorian Yates said back in the day. Well, Dorian, you already lied, okay? I'm gonna say you lied because you approach to us, you don't have and you don't need to squat if you want to have built passive legs. Well, but which is true. But you're not talking, and the reason why you said that because you already have the injured. Okay, what you said back in the day, it seems like squat, it's really bad. And that's what we get from what kind of like you said back in the day. That's what we get. And that's what you means. You're not said, well, if you want to squat, doing. If you don't want to squat, well, it's up to you. You just said is squat not necessary to build massive legs. That's the point you said back in the day. So you're lying, Dorian Yates. You're lying. The 6-time Mr. Olympia lying and approach the bullshit things to all of us. From the genetics and from the squats.
I had a surgery to remove some scar tissue, and I'm sure that these days it would be another way around it, just with therapy, physical therapy and everything, and probably would have worked it out. So, okay, now I'm injured. I don't have any choice. Everyone says you can't build legs without squats, and I believe that, but I don't have a choice now. So I started squatting on a Smith machine.
Okay.
Where I could position the feet forward and keep the back upright and get more on the quads. I started doing that. I started doing hack squats and leg press, and my legs really improved. So yes, I grew legs without doing squats, but I did do them in the early days. So I'm not saying squats don't work. Yeah. I'm just saying for me, they were not the best thing, and there was too much injury risk.
Yeah, you said in the Fuad Abiyat podcast like this, Dorian. But in another videos, what you said is different. It's different meanings, it's different direction, and it's different words. That's why I call you lying.
Do you think your legs could have been, like as you said, you thought your legs were a little bit better when you were squatting. Do you think your legs could have been even better than they were had you kept squatting, if you were able to do it with and stay healthy?
Well, if I could have done it and not get injured, then possibly. But if something has an injury risk, then that's going to set you right back, man. If you get injured, you lose a year or 6 months of gains, and you're going to start all over again. So that's the position I was in. But they were working for me initially, yes. So it's hard to say.
So what do you guys think? Okay, so that's what's kind of like the misconception I heard, and I get it in the internet. Okay, and all of the people, almost all of the people, 90%, 95% believe what Dorian Yates said. From the genetic standpoint, Dorian Yates didn't have the genetics in the first place, but he really working hard, and that's why he can achieve the title of the Mr. Olympia. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. Come on. And you don't need to squat to build massive legs, to have the gigantic legs. That's also bullshit. That's also lies. Come on, guys. Okay, Dorian Yates was already said from himself, from Dorian himself, he said. Okay, so hopefully the misconception what you all get from Dorian Yates could change your mind and change your mindset. I'm always say the truth, guys. So this is the truth. I always and want to say the truth, and always calling out what's kind of like the misconception and the bullshit when it comes to the bodybuilding, when it comes to the sport. Because I know from all of us, we hope and we all the expectation that we can compete at the NPC, and we can compete and being the best bodybuilder out there, getting knowing so much people, because we are bodybuilders, because we have the bodybuilding career. I know, and that's why I'm always say the truth, and I'm always calling out what's kind of like the bullshit that you already get in the fitness industry and in this bodybuilding industry. So guys, if you love this content and this video, I'm gonna talk and put on more and more what's kind of like we can talk and discussion in the bodybuilding world, our favorite division. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'm your host Joan Sagala, signing out. May God bless you all.